All right, and with that, everybody, welcome back to the Once Ready podcast. Good morning. If it's not morning where you are, you're not listening in the morning, shame on you because you had the time, and I don't know why you didn't listen. We have a very special guest today. Peaches and I here with Rizzy Howard.
Rizzy.
We just call her the better half of Jonathan, who was on the podcast earlier, and that's why we wanted you on to chit chat a little bit about, the Air Force, your experience, everything, right? Like no big deal, just your entire life experience before you met your husband and after. So if you don't mind, I'll stop talking. If you don't want to, if you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your history.
Okay, my name is Rizette. I go by Rizzy. I was born and raised up to 10 in Philippines, and then when I was 10, I moved to Guam, and that's where I learned how to speak English. So, it was like the typical story of English speaking second, third language for me, so it's very difficult as any other immigrant, but I don't really play that immigrant card. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Anyways, this is a good start, right?
Right into it.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay.
No, I joined the Air Force a year after high school. I knew I was gonna go Air Force. There was no way my parents could pay for college, so I was like right into the Air Force, get out of Guam and explore the world, And then I get to basic training and I was like, this is shit, like it's the desert. Like I come from Guam and then I'm like in the shithole, so but
And you're in San Antonio.
yes.
Easy.
I was like, what the
Yeah, that's right.
what the hell did I get myself into? And then that was it. And then I think my first duty station was Washington State. I was there for a while, so yeah.
Jeez, hitting all the climates.
Yes. So I came from Guam to San Antonio to Washington State, and I'm like, this is depressing as hell. Like,
just rains. Was it the Air Force base on Guam that kind of got you in?
No.
Was there like a recruiter out there, or you just did it all yourself?
There was like a building, and it has all the recruiters in there. So you pass by the Marines, the Navy, the Army, and I was like, nope. And I was like, Air Force, like, I'm going to be admin. I'm not going to be out there PTing at 5 in the morning every day. Like, I'm good. Yeah.
You sound just like my wife. It's creepy because she said the same thing. She's like, I don't want to get my nails dirty. Like, how do I work in an office? And like, they're like, yeah, we got a job for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can talk shit about me all you want, but I'm going to be in the AC, so I'm good.
There's a lot to be said about AC, especially out in Texas.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a life or death situation.
Mm-hmm.
So did you end up being admin the entire time?
I was services, so I got, okay. I don't want to say the shittiest job, but we literally like do everything, like food, lodging, fitness, mortuary. Like you go from mortuary to food, and it's crazy, And then I did UDM and UTM and all that stuff. So,
jeez.
Yeah, well-rounded.
Yeah, no kidding. How long did you stay in then?
13 years.
13 years.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder you got a round robin of stuff.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yes.
I can't imagine learning all this stuff.
Yeah, like how does that work? Because like our jobs are pretty specific, and your husband's job was pretty specific. Like you have to learn a new thing every time you go to a new base. Like they're kind of related, but yeah.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's all basic stuff. Like it's not easy cooking, I would say. Like everything in the Air Force book for cooking is literally like, I don't know. You guys eat chow hall food, like you know how it tastes like.
It's gourmet.
Yeah, exactly. Gourmet. There's no fire in the kitchen, so everything is like steam, bake. So it's all stupid proof when you cook there.
Rizzy's telling all the secrets now.
Everybody knows. I mean, I love cooking, but the way Air Force handbook tells you how to cook is like because everything is like cheap stuff. So it's not as cheap as the army, but you don't get powdered eggs, you get real eggs. But yeah, you just avoid what not to eat. So I pretty much ate. The hot wings were good. I would say that.
So let's talk about Mortuary Affairs then.
Yeah.
Because Jonathan was on here talking about Mortuary Affairs and some of his experiences within that.
Yeah.
And for me, that is not a job for everybody. That is a very tough job, just in the way of probably mentally taxing. We're not talking about physically or anything like that, but just mentally taxing, because that is, boy, you're talking about dealing, and you guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys aren't just dealing with deaths downrange or in training accidents. Like you're handling any kind of military type deaths that happen on base, or even somebody who's kind of getting a military honors funeral. Is that right?
So I actually got to do both. I did honor guard too, but I was tasked to go to the Mortuary Affairs in Dover. That's like part of our rotation for our deployment. And when I got back, I became the Mortuary Affairs for the base. So anybody who passed away on base, if we have to send families to Dover, like I take care of all that admin stuff and all that. So yeah, I pretty much did both. And I also did honor guard, so I was literally surrounded by remains.
Jeez.
I'm not supposed to be laughing, but that's what it gets you. It's like dark humor.
I'm sure you're not laughing at the you're laughing at the situation. Yes. The fact that like you and how many other people are working in Mortuary Affairs.
Yeah. Like we just deal with it,
Yeah. That's one of those things that is kind of not just unique to all of you, but I mean, the military in general has a very unique humor around it. And that's a lot of people don't understand or don't get, and I think that's one of the reasons why your folks like Matt Best and Jared Taylor and all those, and the Vet TV folks, that's why they have taken off quite a bit in the veteran community, because they have a very unique set of humor, and it is not for everybody. And even no, it is definitely not for everybody, but it's very sarcastic. It can be very dark, and it can be very, very gross and inappropriate, but it's just, I don't know. It's just something that resonates with us, and that transcends through most AFSCs or Air Force Specialty Codes or jobs within the Air Force,
yes.
Army, Navy, Marine, Space Force, and all that kind of stuff. It's a
probably
weird
not the Space
kind of thing.
Force. They're just nerds. They don't have humor. It's all beeps and squeaks.
I'm sure they have probably dry humor too. So.
Yeah, Rizzy coming in with the save. There you go, Trent.
Space Force hates me.
Oh no. But yeah,
it's funny that I'm sorry.
You
bring it up. I was having like a little anxiety attack before we started recording this morning, because I was thinking about it, and I was like, I want to talk about how you and Jonathan. I like saying Jonathan. I don't know why. How y'all met, but I'm like, I know that there was like some humor there. Y'all probably shared some jokes in that environment, but I was like, I don't know if this is a good way to like talk about this. Like, it's not my place to like be like, well, it's just a job, and you have jokes, even though it's like one of the most morbid jobs or heavy jobs that you can possibly have. So like,
yes,
I'm glad it came up. So yeah.
So that was my first. I guess it's not my first time seeing remains. I've had relatives pass away, but and to that extent, yes. You pretty much. I still remember it like so vividly. You get in, they're like, hey, you're doing autopsy. I was like, okay, cool. Like I get to be with the NCIS, like super cool. And then you walk in the back, and the door just opened, and all you hear is like grinding noise. And I was like, what the hell are they doing? So, okay, I can stop if you guys want me to, but
no, keep going. I'm kind of laughing and cringing at the same time because I could just imagine that one little bone saw cutting into skulls and stuff like that. You know?
Yep, and that's
Bone saw's ready. Sorry, I had to do that.
so
I can't
that's
help it.
all you hear. Like every morning, like that means the remains are in, they've been processed. So I help with the autopsy. They take everything, like examine everything. So they take the brain, they take all your guts out of you, and then like if put you back in little pieces. There's some cases where I can never ever forget, or like I call her the maggot lady. She was a dependent, and the husband killed her, stuffed her in a luggage, and threw her out in the jungle. I believe it's in Korea or Japan. And they found her and they shipped her back, and she was already like filled with maggots, and I had to clean up those maggots. And for the longest time, I couldn't eat rice because that's all I can see is like maggots crawling. Uh, yeah.
So do the time hack on that. Rizzy ruins rice for everybody. Like that's what it's going to be called.
Oh, well, let me ruin barbecue for you. So. So we also get people from, it gets blown up. But like we get everything. We got remains from Haiti when everybody was literally like in Haiti and got the tsunami and flooded it, and they were literally there for at least 30 days. You can't find them, and we get those. I would have to like take each body parts that is like left over because they're all marked one by one and put them in the Ziploc bag, and like put them in the freezer. They get hang one by one.
So let me ask you, what happens if you come into this job and you get tagged to be, within services, with all the different jobs within services, and you get tagged to go mortuary affairs? What if you just don't cut it? Like, what if that is just something that, every time you see a dead body, you puke, or what happens then?
So there's admin jobs like in the front of the office. Like they put you there, and if you still think you can't handle it, you get sent back home. Like nobody is forced to do it. I would say that. But like the environment there is just like fun. I wouldn't say fun, but I always say like we put the fun in funerals. Like that's what we that's like our joke. We yeah. That's why Howard and me lasted, because this is like our humor, like I can't see him marrying another girl who's just like who could not deal with him. I know it's a lot, but so
yeah, believe me, dealing with John. Oh boy, dealing with John.
So how we met is he did I know he spoke a little about it. He did the viscera. So, like I said, I take every body parts that gets out of the remains that they take out. So with him is the visceral stuff like the intestine, everything, brain. I give him the bucket, and he chop it up and put it back in the remains. So how we met is he kept annoying me like, hey, can you tell the doctors to hurry up? And this is like every day. And I'm finally one day I'm like, dude, like I'm a fucking E3, like E4. I don't remember my rank back then. I'm like, I'm not going to tell a colonel to hurry up and so you can go home and I don't know, do whatever you do. But he was just like, okay, like I guess I'll just stay. I was like, yeah, like like everybody else, we all stay and we wait for the officers, like we always do. So, but
always waiting for officers.
But yeah, that's just how it was built. The relationship, and he asked me to go to NASCAR, and he thought I wasn't gonna go, and I was like, yeah, I love cars, so there's that. I didn't really know too much about rednecks then, but
So that's like the most redneck first date ever. He's like, you want to go NASCAR?
Yes. Oh my God, I love every minute of it. I would go to NASCAR.
I sure hope he bought you like a Dale Earnhardt number three shirt and had you drinking.
So I was like the third pick for
Natty.
that date. It wasn't really a date. Yeah. Like the other two girls were like, who's this nerd? But I love cars. I wasn't going with him. I was going there for the cars. So
Dang, John.
So yeah, I mean, I guess he thought I was cool, and I was like, "You got a car? Yeah, I'll go with you wherever you go." Like, so it was just like a hangout thing. Like, never really like it wasn't love at first sight, not at all.
That's cool. Most of the time it's not, but how long were you guys, or how long after you guys met or kind of went on your first date, was he always saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go combat control"?
Yes. So he was already like getting ready. Like that's all he did was run, workout, run, workout, run, workout, and I would just work out with him. Like he never stopped, I would say. Like he told me if we get married, he's still gonna do this and all that, and I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Like I met you while you were training for it. I'm not gonna stop you now. So you do you.
Yeah, there you go.
But did you have some concerns, like, or how much did you know about like how much he would be gone during the pipeline and everything else that you look back now and but like, did you know any of that stuff and what was going to be expected?
Yes, because we had referees come in at the mortuary, and I think we've had quite a few, and I know what they do. Also, like when I was in McCord, so I was with, I think, is it the Tutu there?
Tutu.
Yeah. I remember sending Hervel's mom to Dover, so I think I've sent quite a few families. I've taken care of quite a few families that were that had their sons pass away. So I knew all of it.
That's a unique personal connection that you have there.
Yes. Like before Howard even knows anything, I would get the call. And also like, being the Mortuary Affairs on base for Herbert Field, it's the same thing. I get all the calls first, and then that's when, I call him and I'm like, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's all like we're all intertwined in a crazy way. Yeah.
Now, were you guys already married at that point?
Mm-hmm.
And so were you guys together, or were you still kind of separated?
I believe he was already in Herbert Field when Harvell's passed away. I believe, yeah. It's all a blur, like all of it.
Yeah,
He was always gone. Yeah.
Yeah. August 2011. So
Yes.
Well, that's wild because like we get a lot of questions from people being like, "Hey, like my significant other doesn't want me to do this," but like they don't really know anything about it. But like the fact that like you are like painfully aware of what he's getting himself into, and you still let him do, like not let him do it, but like what was it about the way that he was chasing the combat control that made you like cool with it, or is that just you didn't want to get in his way, or how did that work out in your mind?
I think for me, it's just having the respect for him to be able to do it, to want to do it. No, like not a lot of men are like, yeah, let me go out there and kill some bad guys. Or I feel like that's every man's dream, but they don't ever go through it. Like I have had
a lot of talk. Yeah,
I've had a lot of friends, in the services and other like AFSC. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna go be special ops, blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, go do it. Like go, but they never end up doing it, and then they're retired, like being the same AFSC they got into. So I really commend men who are just like so dedicated for it, and I think him being in the Mortuary Affairs like saw the aftermath. So he had like a first look on all the remains that we get, and he's just like so ready for it. But yeah, I don't know. I always say like this is gonna sound bad, but I always say like we're going on 15 years, but we've never really like lived together since he was in training so much. And I think that's what like kept us going because it was always like a honeymoon phase whenever he gets back, you know,
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
and then you get tired of him and I'm like, all right, it's time for you to go TDY, you know?
Yeah, you get used to a lot of the being alone, that kind of stuff.
Yes. And I was like focused on my career too and, you know, was doing my own thing as well. I think that's what really gets, a lot of marriage. That's why they don't work because one is always at home doing nothing, or I don't know, like I can't say, but for us it worked because we were always like doing something separately. And when it's time to be together, we're together. That makes sense.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say this. I'm gonna save you real quick, Rizzy. I wouldn't say that they're doing nothing.
I know,
I don't want you to get
I
yourself in
know,
trouble.
I know, that's
The
what I
comments are going to
said.
be fire.
Yeah, they're busy. They are busy. They are doing a lot of they are doing a
That's
lot of
why I
things
have
like
to take back my comment.
yeah.
I think what the saying is like a lot of the wives, and I know my wife, like I always tell her like this works because you don't need me. You know, like she has like her
Exactly.
own things. She's an independent person. She's
Exactly.
driven in her own way. So like I think that's what makes it work. Like if I'm not around, it's not like the end of the world.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's the only way it would work because you just like the guys are like they're gone. You guys are gone. Like literally every freaking I don't know, like the whole year you're probably home like for 2 weeks. I don't know. I like you get home like every other weekend or and then you're like extended TDY or I'm like sure it's extended, like whatever. But
Sometimes those planes do break. They
yeah,
break a lot.
sure.
In Spain.
Yeah, in Azores or you know, never know, but
Yeah, well, yeah.
Hawaii.
Sometimes it's yeah, Spain, whatever.
Yeah.
It happens.
But I always say, yeah, that's the only way it would work if the other half is, you know, doesn't have to rely on you for everything. Like I was able to do everything on my own, and yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have to be independent and have your own thing going on, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have your own career.
Yes.
If the kids 100% can be a career
Oh
if you happen to
yes.
have kids, because that is for sure, especially with so many people homeschooling now.
Yes.
That is a full-time job.
It is a
Taking
lot.
taking care of everything little thing that comes up around the house, homeschooling, make sure everything's squared away. So, yeah, I mean, there are definitely there's probably more than two routes, but I would just say there's kind of two routes. There's folks like you that have got a career, and that there's because you guys don't have kids, right?
No.
Or you do?
Just
Yeah.
dogs.
Lots and lots of dogs. You're not a crazy cat lady, though, right?
No, I'm a crazy dog lady.
Okay.
Yes.
So
We're first the wives that stay home and don't do anything, and now crazy cat ladies. Like this is gonna be great.
Yeah. Hey, everybody
All
knows
the
crazy cat
comments.
ladies.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's awesome. So, so you guys are like, I'm having problems with the timeline. So, what would be? You already mentioned how every time he came home, it was like a honeymoon. He was gone a lot and that kind of stuff. So, but you had your own career, so you were able to flourish. You weren't dependent on him.
Mm-hmm.
You're your own person, your own things going on, that kind of stuff. What would you say is one of the largest challenges that you had, during that time where he was, deploying, training, going on trips and that kind of stuff?
I think it's just him not being there when, you know, you need him. Like, you know, women, we're very emotional, whether we like to say it or not, but we're wired differently. Like, if I need you there, I need you there. You know, like it's always trying to reach for him and he's not there. So I think for me that was it. Like I mow the grass by myself. Like if the sink is leaking,
Yeah.
I'll fix it. You know, if it's something I can fix, I can call somebody to fix it. But I think that was, yeah, that was the only thing. And then, you know, if he's not answering his phone, he's probably, I don't know, like a lot of shit goes through your head, you know, just like everybody else. Like, what is he doing right now? Is he at a bar? Is he at a strip club? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, oh, well, you know, I'm sure he's going to call me
No,
when he wakes up.
He's getting smoked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, he's probably at a
exactly.
bar.
yeah, it's that meme where the man and the woman are laying in bed, and I was like, he's probably thinking about
Yeah.
another woman, and in reality, he's thinking about like how does a battery work, or how does man, what if I was a ninja and I was freaking, you know, it's
Like,
things like that that we're doing and thinking about.
exactly. Men just, they just don't think about anything, period.
Yeah. I mean, really, that's what goes through my head. It's just random ass shit
Yeah.
where it's just, hey, what if I could do this?
Yeah.
What if I was taller?
Yeah, yeah. What if
Yeah.
I was taller? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Wah, wah, wah.
So when he was going through the pipeline and he'd like call you, did he ever need to like lean on you for motivation? Or, you know, I remember him briefly as a student, and he always seemed to be super positive, you know, and didn't like seem to have any problems. But like, did he ever have to call you or any time during the career and be like, hey, like, and you had to be like, hey, just keep going, it's fine, or was he always just 100% in?
During the pipeline, he was just super motivated. Like he knew he got to get through all of it, and you know, like I don't think I ever really like had the conversation for him to like get your ass up. You know, this is what you signed up for. Um, no, he was all about it. Like that was his dream. You know. The only time I ever knew I had to like come home was when Sibley and Matt passed away. I was in Okinawa then, and I was like, I told my supervisor, I was like, hey, I gotta go home. Like, I need to be with him. And yeah, that was really tough for him. And that was the only time I ever felt like I needed to be there for him. But yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely those kind of challenging times where, and it usually comes out of nowhere. You know, it's almost always when you don't expect it.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, and it's kind of like and I'm gonna make it a little bit more lighthearted and kind of switch back to something that you had said, but when we talk about things that happen unexpectedly, you wouldn't expect it. It's kind of like as soon as we leave on a trip, the sink starts leaking.
Yes.
Or the dog gets sick, or something happened, and it's usually like as soon as you leave.
Yes.
If it had happened 12 hours, 24 hours earlier, whatever. But as soon as you leave, like, hey, yeah, I'm boarding out of Vegas now. Like, you know, have a good trip. Yeah. Well, the fridge just stopped working, so enjoy your trip. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
And that's not what it said to me. It's what I'm thinking. I'm sitting here going like, oh no, of course. Like how do I freaking fix this right now?
And you can't do anything.
Because I feel terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Helpless, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I ever really bothered him about any of those. And I was just like, you know, it is what it is. The house is not burning, so we're good.
Yeah. Not getting shot at and you can breathe. All right, cool.
Exactly.
This is good.
So how did your career go? You know that you were in for 13 years. You all ended up at Hurlburt together. Like tell us, like, were you still Mortuary Affairs the whole time? Did you have chances to branch out, or did you end up being in charge of the whole racket?
I pretty much move around really. Like when I got back to Herbert Field, I think 2015 or 16, I went back to being a UDM, and that's when I separated. I was a UDM. I did a lot of UDM, UTM, and admin stuff. So when I can get out of the mortuary, I'm like, okay, no. But I keep getting, going thrown back in it, and I can't say no. Like, there's nobody else that can do it. I don't want to say like better than me, but like that's like my thing. Like I love that. That was like my favorite job in services. It's just different. Like when you see families, like I feel like that's the only time you get appreciated being in services. Also, like when you're deployed, because we get all the alcohol, but
all right, secrets out.
Now we know.
But yeah, being in the mortuary on base is like the only job I would do it all over again. So yeah.
Well, so did you separate because why'd you separate then?
Because Howard was separating. Yeah, he was retiring. Okay. So I didn't want to do the whole like long distance shit anymore. Like I'm tired of it, and he pretty much said like, you get out. And I was like, if I get out, I get out. I'm not going reserves. I'm not putting back that uniform again. Like I'm done. And he was like, okay. So that's when we stumbled upon real estate, and that's pretty much how we took off.
A little real estate action.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Well, yes. I just wanted to ask real quick about the mortuary thing. Was it like just a sense of purpose and the mission? Because you're pretty close to real things that are happening. But like if you're sitting behind a desk, you just feel removed from it all. But like, like it's important what you're doing in mortuary. Is that what it was? Like that sense of purpose? And then I guess since we're talking about you getting out, like, is that what when you were the UDM and you didn't feel that as much, and then you got out? Like, did you struggle finding that again?
No, we were too busy. Like we were too busy, like doing so much stuff, trying to pretty much build our real estate business, I would say. But, I mean, I guess I did miss it, like in a way where I'm like, okay, now what? Like nobody is thanking me anymore. Nobody is telling me good job, but I guess I didn't really like think about it that way, as far as like not needing a purpose or not having a purpose. Also, like I went back to school. Like I was in school the whole time too. So yeah.
Well, that was kind of your purpose, and you're seeing the success as you're building your business. They're saying thank you with dollars and stuff like that, and that's kind of your purpose, because you're like, well, hey, we got to make sure that this succeeds.
Yes.
That's that's our drive. That's our purpose. So, and I think that's righteous. So that's awesome. And it obviously worked out for you guys.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, really? Kind of, huh?
I want to hear about this, because I assume it was like an overnight success, right? Like you guys just got into real estate and boom, it all worked out.
Oh my God, no. We divorced plenty of times. Like I said, there's no more TDY. That's what I call it. I was like, he's up in my face. We're up in each other's all the time. And I'm just like, whew, like it was rough. Like we had a rough time, of course, starting it, because I always blame him. I'd be like, I couldn't be in the Air Force right now. Probably stationed in Italy. I don't know. But no, it was a lot. Like when he said, hey, I'm buying this condo, we're going to renovate it, like, I'm like, okay, well, we're going to hire people to renovate it, right? And he's like,
nope.
No, like you're going to put the floors in, we're going to go paint it. Like we did all of that. And that's what I love about him. Like whatever he does, like his focus, like the drive is still there. It was like being in training all over again for him. Like, he has to do it. He has to get it done. Like, and it all worked out with us, like pretty much balancing each other. So there'll be times when I'm like, I just leave him. I'm like, I'm over it. But But
Oh, there's the peek behind the curtain. There you go. You know how many times I told John I'm ready for a divorce?
it's been a lot. It's been a lot. It's
Yeah, there you
tough.
go.
It's not like marriage, whether, like the other one has a career or not. Like it's tough. It's tough all around. Like with or without kids, I feel like without kids, it's even worse because you don't really have attention to give out to anybody, like you're just in each other's throats all the time. So yeah, and we did go through a rough patch, like that 7 year hump that everybody's talking about. Like, yeah, we went there, we were that's how I got to Okinawa. I was like, look, either we kill each other or like I go. Like we were in therapy for the longest time and I was like, this is not working. Like that therapist is stupid. I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to her. And like I was very hard headed.
The funny thing, well, yeah, I mean that's the big lie is that everybody thinks that especially what you see on social media is real. If you haven't heard this already, I'm not saying anything new, but so much of it is not real, or maybe it's real at that time, but you don't see all the other stuff, like to what you were saying, Trent, like overnight success. No, you didn't see the amount of hours and effort and blood, sweat, and tears put into that. You're just seeing the after, like, hey, yeah, finally made it. And guess what? Even then, you haven't really made it.
Yeah.
You see, like, equating it to the graduations. You see these folks up there on the stage. Hey, blouse your boots, don your beret. That's the end of a 2.5 year pipeline. That's the end of when they were in high school or in college or even out of it, putting in hours upon hours of work, getting ready for it. Same goes for, a successful real estate business. There are no 9 to 5 hours in real estate. It is all the time. I mean, you guys are, if you're showing houses throughout the day, you're writing offers at night into the, you're doing the loan paperwork, you're doing all that kind of stuff, all hours of night. There is no 9 to 5. That is, there are 9 to 5 jobs, but that ain't one of them, and neither is special warfare.
Yeah, they go hand in hand for sure.
Yeah. Sorry, I went off on a rant there.
No, the dark side of marrying someone that's independent, right? Like, because we talk about it, we're like, this is how this works. You have to have someone that's super independent, but like, you get to the other side of it, where it's like, yeah, it's good that like they can handle me being gone, or they can be gone, and all these other things. But when you are stuck in the same house for prolonged periods of time, it's two very independent people that are stubborn, and and all these other things, and it is what it is.
Yes, as long as like your weaknesses, your strength, like it took a long time for both of us to realize like who we really are, and once you get that synergy, you're just like, oh, it was that easy. I was overthinking the whole time,
And now you guys can take on the world, though.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the goal, is to rule the world.
Yep.
Maybe not rule the world, but
yeah, take over the
world. Conquer the world of bags. Like I've seen your Instagram page. There's a lot of bags.
Yeah, retail therapy. It's the best. I'd rather go to retail therapy than pay somebody to tell me what to do. I'm just kidding. No, that's like I keep telling him. I was like, you did this. Like, you started my shopping addiction. I was like,
whoopsie.
Just like whenever you're gone, I have to feel happy. So I buy a bag. But no, like it's like my thing. It's like why I work, I guess. Why do you work?
Well, when you start, let's talk about bags real quick, or maybe not bags. Let's relate to it, right? So you guys just had the First There Red Beret Gala.
Yes.
For the First There Foundation. Like, tell us about that. Like, what was all that about? How involved are you in the actual foundation? And then if you're not extremely involved, like, tell us about the gala and all that kind of good stuff.
Yes. So the First There Foundation was founded by Eric Homan. He brought it up with John, and John was like, all about it. Like he's all about helping the boys, and it's always been for us, like, as far as, like, go back to real estate, like, he's always trying to make sure, like, the boys are taken care of. So when Ho was like, yeah, dude, I want to start this foundation, and we were just like, yeah, we're all for it. Let us know what you need. Like, I feel like we've never really explored other foundations, just because I want something that is, like, more personal. Like, we actually know where the funds are going. And at the gala, we were able to hear a lot of testimonies, like how the funds being used, as far as, like, people going to retreat and coming back, like, healed. And it was just amazing. Like, Miss Lori Chapman was there, and she spoke, and it was just like, it feels good. Like, it felt good to be there. It felt good to help the foundation. I wouldn't say I am as involved, but I am very, like, like, yeah, I want to help. I'm there, and when John is like, hey, this is for the First There, I'm like, yeah, don't even ask me. You don't need to ask me. Like, we're doing it. So, and I'm very, very thankful that it was started, because there are a lot of boys out there that needs it, and they don't talk about it, So now they can call one of the boys and be like, hey, I need help, and it's there.
Yeah, and one of my good friends, it's Linda. You know Linda, right?
Yeah.
As part of the board members.
Yes.
Well, her husband called me after, reaching out to the foundation. Obviously he knows Eric and knows John and all those guys, but yeah, he was just praising everything, that all the treatment that he had gotten, and how much it has helped him. And it's never a one-time thing. It's a continuous thing, and it kind of goes periodically, and how much things have helped him and all that kind of good stuff. So that's awesome that the foundation is doing that, and it's very seems to have a very focused goal.
Yes.
So it's awesome, and again, it looked like you guys had a really good showing at the gala, because that only happened like last weekend, I think, right?
Yes, just last weekend, the 9th. Yeah.
You guys should probably come out to Vegas and hold a gala. Just saying, there's plenty of places.
Oh my goodness!
You can work on those bags. We got plenty of places to acquire bags out here.
I don't know. That's like asking for trouble.
I know.
We'll see. I think the next one is going to be in San Antonio again, but we're planning on holding one here in Florida, because we have a lot of supporters here as well. Like, we know a lot of people here who are willing to help the veterans. So hopefully we get to set up one here, and it's easier for other guys to go, just because there's so many assistants and retirees here as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When you keep saying here, are you in San Antonio now?
No, in Destin. Area. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Around Navarre, Destin, Fort Walton. I mean, that's the hub.
Exactly.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, Trent, you probably have quite a few in the San Antonio area too, I imagine.
Yeah. There's a few hubs of where everybody ends up, right? Like North Carolina, Destin, San Antonio.
Yes.
So
surprisingly, we got quite a few in Vegas. Not nearly like
just the
there,
degenerates.
But yeah. It is the degenerates, and I'll end up being one of those probably. So not a degenerate, just somebody who ends up in Vegas.
Yeah, so Vegas wouldn't be a bad one either. Yeah.
So what about what makes it different though? Because you were in the Air Force and like you had your career field and like when you talk about mortuary affairs, I have to assume that some of those people that went through that, like they need help later on in their career as well. So is that something you think about is reaching out to the people that you used to know? Because like obviously like the boys that you know from combat control, we all know kind of like their experience and some of the things that the First Air Foundation is doing. But like, did you see any of those things happen outside of the special warfare community with like the folks that you knew in the quote unquote regular Air Force?
We have a little group as well, but like I said, if you can't do that, like you get sent home. Like I mean, I know everybody probably just blocks it, but um, I think they're just living the way I'm living right now. It's like it's just there, but I've never really heard of anybody who's like, oh, I'm going through shit. Like I need like it's just a different. It takes a special person, I would say. So I don't know. Maybe I should reach out to them.
Or maybe y'all just have like a group text where y'all tell your ridiculously dark jokes to each other and just get it out.
Yeah, it's usually like that. So like we always like just joke about it. Like whenever we reminisce it and like, hey, you need help? Like, yeah, okay. Like let's go get some help, like. And we actually have like a chaplain there too that was always there, so I still message them, speak to them if needed. But we've never really been like, hey, like what's going on, all that. Like, I don't know. I guess I didn't really like see that in that community. It was always dark humor for us. So.
No, yeah. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I'll say with that dark humor is tough for, again, like I had talked about before, that is tough for people can be tough for people to relate to until you've had to deal with it. And it's a coping mechanism.
It is.
Right?
It is. It is. No matter how you say it's a coping mechanism. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but did you say you had deployed too when you were?
I was in UAE. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not a
that's
gung-ho.
a deployment, right?
I'm not a gung-ho. I was actually able to pick that deployment, so.
Oh
yeah, when I was a UDM.
Picking and choosing.
Exactly. I'm like, no, don't get me out in the crazy part. I'm good.
It's funny because like I know I get judgy about people that are like, oh, like I deployed to like Tampa or whatever, but like I'll usually keep my mouth shut. But I know my wife, like if she meets someone and they're like, my husband's deployed right now, she's like, oh, where are they at? And they're like, Florida. She's like, that is not a deployment. Like you don't know what a deployment is, and you try not to be like super judgy about it. But it's like I know that your significant other's gone, but like
yeah,
the word deployment I think means something a little bit different to our community.
Exactly. No.
Yeah, there's the deployments to Tampa. There's the deployments to Shaw Air Force Base.
Exactly.
You are like, is it though?
If I can still visit you, I think it's
It's a little less of a deployment.
So Riz, we get a lot of questions about people that are thinking about joining, and they have significant others or boyfriends, girlfriends, all that other type of stuff, and parents. Like after going through like all these experiences, like obviously it worked out in the end, but you guys went through a lot to get to where you're at now, and now you're reaching back and supporting everybody. But for someone that's like step one of this process, like what are some of the things that they should do or not do, or lessons learned along the way that you have that you could give them to if my significant other is going to go try to be combat controller, like what would you tell that person?
I would say like I don't want to say just deal with it, but I think if you know that that's the one, you just go through it together. Like they only need your support, nothing else. Like as blatant as it is, but I think that's all there is to it. Like just support them, like if that's their dream, that's their dream. Try not to get in the way because it is hard not to, but at the end of the day, it will pay off. Like it's better to look at your man like accomplished than have him fail and then, you're just like, oh shit, I should have supported him. I should have been there for him. So just be there for him. Ask if he needs anything. If he says no, then it's a no, because they're going to come to you later on and say, yeah, this is what I need. So yeah, don't
always needy.
exactly.
Just needy.
Yeah, eventually they'll say, yeah, I need you. So don't be so harsh on them, because it is a lot. Like, yeah. And there's
it's a lot to take. It's following their dream. There's a lot to it, So and for me, whenever Rizzy says support, that is, I don't want to say picking up the phone or texting or anything like that, but it's like, it's understanding that sometimes, like, I need you. Like, support can look different to a lot of different people. But what I don't need is like, oh, well, you could just, everything will be all right. You could just come home and that kind of stuff. That's not support.
No.
So support is like, hey, dipshit, you said you were going to go for a run this morning. Like, this is what Donna will do to me. I'll say, oh yeah, I need to go for a run, right? Sometime today. Like,
Yeah.
hey, what's your plan for today? I got to work out at some point. And then it'll get towards the end of the day. And it's like, I guess I'm not going to be able to make it or something like that. And Donna will go, hey, what's up? You said you were going to get for workout. We're going to hit dinner here pretty soon. So you may want to get to it. I'm like, well, she goes, you said you were going to do it. It's like,
she's like, yo, fatty.
Okay, cool.
I was going to say, hey, go.
Hey, fat ass, get your ass out there and run. Yeah. That's really, I'm being nice. That's really what she says, but.
The F word.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, get your ass out there and do some shit. So anyway, I do want to mention one more time, just to really kind of plug it, before we kind of wrap things up. But, please go out there, check out First There Foundation. It's the #1 ST there. So firstthere.org. Feel free to donate, check out. They do have merch available and it all supports and all that kind of good stuff. And then, I don't know the rules on the galley, or not the gala, not galley. Sorry. Believe it or not, I was watching a Navy documentary a couple days ago. So it's weird. I know. Anyway, they've got galas. You guys do them once a year, right?
Yes. Once a year.
Yep. Okay.
During the 9/11 weekend. So, yes.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, check them out. And then, what's your Instagram for people that want to follow you? And then probably we'll throw John's out there too, I guess.
Well, I'm Duchess Rizzy on Instagram. You don't need to follow me, but but yeah, I share a lot of like stuff we do. I don't want to say like I post a lot of things there, but daily life. I'm unemployed now, as I always say, but if you need
but still getting them bags.
If you need motivation to spend money, let me know.
Right, but would you be willing if there were other like, because we do have a lot of wives that they are in very similar situations.
Yes, please reach out
you were
to me.
in.
Yeah, reach out to me if you need any advice or anything. If you have to deal with if you need to divorce him, divorce. I'm just kidding. No.
Wow.
So back to what we said about supporting.
You're not going to get like the soft, pillowy kind of advice from.
No, you're not.
It's going to be.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be real. Okay. So, but I'm actually, well, I haven't really mentioned it, but I'm actually going for my doctorate for counseling. So, and it's going to be focused on traumatology, and that's one thing that I want to be available for the foundation for sure. So. I start my classes on that next month. So instead of going through dark humor and all that, like, I get to be by the book.
Wow. I love how you just slipped that in at the very end. Just like, oh yeah.
So yeah, I get to, practice and help other women who is dealing the same, who's dealt the same as I have. So, yeah.
Well, good deal. Well, good luck with all that. And we appreciate you doing that. And we appreciate, everything that you, John, and the folks over there, the First There Foundation have put to all the support and the help that you guys have put into the community and continue to. And we're happy to help however we can. So whatever we can do to, through donations, through getting you guys on the platform, through covering the events and all that kind of stuff. Like, we're happy to help. So thanks for doing what you do. Yeah, thanks for doing what you do. Thanks for doing, thanks to John for doing what he does. And we appreciate it. So for all the folks out there, for all the folks out there, definitely don't like, hit the down arrow. No, do the opposite of that. And then don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and then leave us a review. Check out onesready.com for sending any kind of merch, and we're out there. All right.
Appreciate it.